What you're seeing here is a video, if you're watching this on the browser, a video at its native aspect ratio, at its native resolution with no cutoff. A lot of people have talked about trying to fix your TV to account for the cutoff that the YouTube app tends to impose on a lot of videos. However, although there's only so much you can really do, it is a problem with the app and not really the TV, because I've tried it on 2 different TVs, it is still a problem. So, the easiest remedy is to point out something that I think a lot of video editors have forgotten about in this day and age where we're at the 16:9 aspect ratio on a regular basis. Back in the days of 4:3 televisions, we had this little thing called pan and scan that you had to deal with. I mean, to show you an example, here's a clip from the VHS tape version of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, to illustrate my point.
They will kill you if you stay.
They wouldn't dare.
They need her to sign a treaty to make this invasion of theirs legal. They can't afford to kill her.
There is something else behind all this, Your Highness. There's no logic in the Federation's move here. My feelings tell me they will destroy you.
Our only hope is for the Senate to side with us. Senator Palpatine will need your help.
Did you notice how it seemed like the shot, although it looked the same, was moved over for that cutaway? That's an example of pan and scan in effect. It's where if you have a video or a film that is at a wider aspect ratio than most TVs can show, and you don't want to letterbox because people didn't like letterboxing, that's what you had to do. It was pan and scan. And that's where these come in. These are your video safe zones. You have 2 main boxes. This, right about here, this is your action safe zone. This is where it's safe to have the actions of your actors or important visual information that's not super vital, but it's just part of the composition. This is where you want to put it, is in the action safe box. Now this middle box here is your title safe box. This is where you need to have the absolutely essential visual information put, be it subtitles, titles, credits, even key visual elements like, say, well, to use an example, Citizen Kane. That's where you would say, have Charles Foster Kane's lips right there in the center as he's saying, Rosebud. That is where you want your vital, absolutely important to understand your image, that is where you want it to be, is in this title safe zone. So, let me reiterate. Action safe, title safe. Action safe, title safe. If you're right at the edge, it's gonna be cut off. And to illustrate this, I'm going to use one of MatPat's most recent videos. Well, not most recent, it came out last year. But here's a recent example of the editors not paying attention to their safe zones because of the false sense of comfort we get from being on YouTube.
Even before Metal Gear solidified, cigarettes were the first item you received in the game. Equip them, and most of the time all they did was deplete your health. Hilarious anti-smoking. Even before Metal Gear solidified, cigarettes were the first item you received in the game. Equip them, and most of the time all they did was deplete your health. Hilarious anti-smoking statement.
Notice how that little joke that Ronnie tried putting in got cut off and you couldn't read it? That's because he had it right at the edge and wasn't taking into account of using safe zones. That is what these are for. The box you see in your video editor is not just to be fancy. Some people use it to adjust their composition, but the main purpose is to make sure that you have things in the action safe and title safe categories. That way, if your videos do get cut off by the television you're showing them on, you're not losing anything that's overly essential to your image. So please, YouTubers, don't turn off that box when you're making your video edits if you want people to enjoy your videos on the YouTube app when they're watching it on television, be it through PlayStation, Xbox, Wii U, or if they're using a Roku or a Chromecast. Please, use your safe zones. This has been a public service announcement.